Hello, everyone. Welcome. My name is Anna Azucena, your Akashic healer, and we are here on the Energy Podcast with interview number two. I'm so excited because I don't take these yeses lightly. I don't just be like, oh, yeah, someone wants to be on the podcast. No, I take it very intentionally and sacredly, and I actually tune in intuitively to ask Spirit and my guides who needs to be on here, because there's so many amazing people, so many frequencies, but it needs to be in alignment for the highest good, the people tuning in. Without further ado, I would like to introduce to you this beautiful soul over here. We have Anna on as our second guest. Hello, Anna.
Hey.
How are you today?
I'm pretty good. I'm excited to be on this call.
Yes, I'm really excited to have you here as well. So I'd love for people to feel into the frequency that you embody. And so let's get into it a little bit deeper. We'd like to share 4 words that resemble who you are, and then we can carry on a little bit about the background of what you share with the world.
I'm going to use the words or the lines that I typically use. So creative visionary is one, synergistic curator,
Ooh,
a mother and a daughter. I'll leave it at that.
I love those. Thank you for sharing those. Those are beautiful. So let's get into it. You chose really amazing words, which are actually going to segue into my next question. So when you say creative visionary, that's what you said, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Why those 2 words together?
Yeah. I'm going to take it back a little bit. All my life, I knew that I was going to be an artist in some shape or form, like whatever that looked like. I knew that from when I was really young. And I went to school for graphic design and advertising.
Oh.
But I knew that regardless of what art form I chose to use, there's supposed to be purpose to like support community and support the people around me. I didn't know what that meant or what that looked like. And for the longest time, it made me uncomfortable to say I'm an artist or I'm a graphic designer, or having like very specific titles, right? Like that's very career driven. And I realized, like, as I got more confident and more into myself spiritually, I visualize everything. That's one thing. I visualize everything. It has to be very intentional, whether it's a conversation like this, what I'm painting, what I'm curating for a workshop. I visualize every single component, and I could see it. I could see all the images and everything in my mind. And the one thing that always reigned true is like, I really do have confidence in my creativity. Right. So that doesn't necessarily always look like drawing. And so I just kind of melted both of those worlds. I'm a creative visionary. Right. So if I'm helping you with branding or marketing or curating an event or drawing, these are different worlds, but I'm able to be very creative and visualize it and manifest it, really, is what that means.
So you said something really interesting. You said that, I think you said since you were 2 years old.
Since I was really young.
Okay,
Since I was young. I don't remember what age.
Okay. So can you describe that feeling, that knowingness?
As a child, it was uncomfortable, to be honest. I knew that knowingness didn't come from here. It came from outwardly, right? Like it's a higher power. I knew that from when I was really little, but I was very shy about it. I was like, that's weird to feel that way. Also didn't want to seem like it was coming from a place of like ego or cockiness. Right. So I never really actually fully tuned into it till after I had my daughter, which my daughter is now going to be 6. So 6 years ago, I fully, ingrained in that. But I think the beauty of knowing that art was always going to be in my life was that wherever I went, whatever job I had, anybody I connected with, if art was there and it was intentional or it was in place, then I knew, okay, I'm supposed to be here. Right. And a lot of times it was scary because, again, it was like, well, why, God? Why do you want me in this position? This is like really putting myself out there. Like even a conversation like this, it makes me nervous, right? Really putting yourself out there. But because I'm leaning into knowing that God, the universe, and my ancestors want me here, then I have to do it. So it's an interesting feeling. Like you're balancing, like, I don't want to, and like, I really have to though.
Wow. Big questions. Okay. Yeah. I totally really resonate actually with that. When I was younger as well, I had these feelings, not necessarily as a creative, because I was conditioned to think that wasn't me, even though I really appreciated dancing, singing, both of those. It was always seen as like this like extracurricular. And I knew deep down there's like this deep inner knowing. And then only once I started hearing other people acknowledge it, I was like, wait a minute, other people think this too? Like there's other people other than myself who are acknowledging this deep inner knowing. I thought it was just me. And so once I found it outside, I was like, then it became my journey to be honest with myself, because that was a whole, like, it's still going, but definitely peeling back layers of honesty, what that brought forth. So I appreciate you sharing that and giving the audience a little glimpse of that time, because I feel like there are people right now experiencing that, where they're in this knowing unknowing stage. And the next thing I wanted to talk to you about was ingrained energy. You mentioned 6 years ago it really clicked in, was when your daughter came to earth. And what did you decide for yourself in those moments? Well, I know it was a big moment, but like, what locked in for you and you're like, okay, now I'm really taking this forward?
I think really what parenthood, motherhood. So even when I found out I was pregnant, I could already feel her own power and like what she's bringing and what she's going to be doing in this world. And that's when I was like, okay, I can be fearful and nervous about the steps that I'm supposed to take, but I can't let fear hold me back. I have to just really lean into those synchronistic moments, right? Like even the way me and you met, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're meant to be here. So it's like when we lean into that, things flow more easily, right? Rather than like pushing and letting go and like, oh, I'm not ready. And so when I was pregnant, I was like, okay, I need to be the best version of myself on that spiritual journey as an artist, so that I can show my daughter as she gets older that she can be that too. And she'll be nervous as well, right? But just seeing like even as a 4-year-old or 5-year-old and how I felt as a 4 and 5-year-old, I didn't have those conversations, right? So I want to be that for her. So that's where I was like, okay, I have to be honest with myself, right? So that's when it really clicked. And I did some big prayers. I do it almost yearly now, which is like, God, wherever you want me to go, just take me and I'll go. And I mean it, like fully, I'll go, take me, right? And that's when the doors were just like, okay, you need to go. And yeah, it's been very serendipitous. Like it really, really has been. And it's still nerve-wracking. Like people who meet me now might think that I'm like an extrovert and I love to be out there on the stages and stuff and like creating. I'm like, no, I'd honestly rather be a flower on the wall, just like cheering people on. But that's not my purpose. And I'm excited that I have my daughter with me to like go through this journey as well, because I know she has a power within her. So I have to like strengthen myself to support her on that journey.
That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Wow. Okay. When you were sharing about like a synergistic curator, that's what you said, correct? Okay. Yeah. So why those two words particularly?
Yeah. You know, okay, so I recently just came up with that like 2 weeks ago.
Hey, wow.
So one thing about me, I'll be very honest about everything. So, okay, so let me start with the curator piece. I do curate creative wellness workshops once a month. I've been doing that since 2023. And so it's amalgamate a form of creativity. So like art, painting, but it's not just that. Everything's intentional, right? So you got the art, and then the wellness component will always be a visual meditation. There might be sound therapy and things like this, right? And we're very specific on what foods and snacks we're bringing, like everything's intentional. So that's the curator piece of me. And I've been doing it now once a month, sometimes twice a month. I was trying to describe what it is I'm realizing that I'm doing. And again, humbly, it makes me very nervous to share it, but it's something that I've heard constantly about myself, especially as people and guests come to these workshops. I'm a connector of sorts. Like I have a way of bringing in people to these events, whether they're guests, whether they're facilitators, or whether they're a vendor. There is something, and it's not me, like it's obviously outside of me that's allowing me to do it, right? But it's somehow bringing in like-minded individuals and people that leave making new friends or business partners or just creating that safe space. And I was like, what's the best way to describe this? Because I don't even know. And the synergy was the one that came to me, right? Like you have two or more, right, to create something so powerful. And I feel like there's me and then all of you, right? And decided to make that my name because that is really what I do.
I love that. I love that this one was so new. Would you say like the creative visionary came through that title?
Oh man. Okay, that was 2017.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Somewhere around there. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So around like the 2017 and this one being newer, it's like different phases and stages of you as well. So it's just so cool to witness. And you mentioned that you went to school for advertising and graphic. Why that specifically? I know that like it has to do with components of design, but why that avenue?
Yeah. So I know it's so interesting. It's funny because my art teacher in grade 9 was like, she was happy that I was taking graphic design, but she was also like, no, you need to go into more visual. And it was this whole thing of like, I kept judging my drawing skills. And I was like, no, we're not doing that. No, we're not doing that. But I honestly love, and this has been since I was a child, graffiti is actually what got me into like drawing and then graphic design. I realized whenever I would do a bit of graffiti or typography, it was always affirmations or positive words, or I was trying to bring on positive words around me because as a child, what it was around me wasn't the most positive, right? And so when I decided to go to college, I was like, I really love layout design. I love choosing fonts that mean something.
Did you say layout design? Sorry, I didn't get that part.
Yeah, layout, like magazine layouts.
Okay.
Like that could even be like now web design layouts. Yeah. So I love even like social media, like the flyers we put on there, right? Like I love creating those. And the fonts, I think that's always been what it was, is like the fonts, the typography is what I've always loved. And then now choosing colors. But now that I'm on this spiritual journey too, like all the colors mean something. It's not just, oh, that's pretty.
Yeah, exactly. They're intuitively picked for that moment and for the meaning. So I love that. Thank you for sharing that. You mentioned something so beautiful and it's still playing in my conscience. You said like there's this fine line between doing something because like even if you're uncomfortable and then like you still got to do it and not wanting to do it. Can you speak a little bit more about that on like your experience through that? Like how do you know when you're leaning into like something that you don't want to do, but you have to do it because it's something that's going to support you?
I would say, I mean, there's so many answers to this. Like there's so many stories I could give, but I would say one thing for sure is, like as human beings, we always get so worried about not seeing the other side. Like we want to see that we're going to win, right? We want to see the success, right? But I had to play over so many stories in my mind that it always worked out, whatever that was. It always worked out, right? But the times that it took so long to get there was because I was so scared or nervous, or I'm like, no, I'm going to go this way instead. Like, I don't know. I don't even understand what's going to happen over there. But then it always I ended up on that other side anyways. And I ended up winning or being amongst people that I'm supposed to, like, it felt so much better, a place of love and light, right? Every time I might feel like, oh, I'm too nervous to be in this specific area, like, could be career, it could be friendships, right? I have to like really look at, okay, well, is this serving my purpose now? And if it's going to serve my purpose, then I have to do it.
Oh, I love it. That's a great question. I'm gonna have that over here at the bottom. Like, is it serving your purpose? So it's gonna be great. That's a great question for people to ask just ask all of ourselves, like, right? Like even when you're like speaking to a friend who's going through it, asking them like, is it serving your purpose? Because sometimes we'll do it to do it. I know I've been in positions where I'm just doing it and because it's part of it, but I'm like, hold on, like, is this of calling? Is this what I'm meant to do? And this is going to go back into what you were asking, what intention and prayer that you had, the higher power. And you said like, where do I need to go? I'll go there. And that when I could feel the confidence when you said that. That was really powerful because, I've seen a lot of people and heard a lot of things, but the confidence sometimes is like, do I really mean that kind of thing? Because like they don't know what's to come, right? But I felt your bravery in that moment because you're like, no matter what, because I know it's gonna bear some sort of grandness to it, some sort of intentional, powerful experience of why I decided to come on earth here and now. So no matter what it is that shows up, I got this. And I love that. Yeah.
And it's hard, like, and I know you said like I sounded confident with, which I do now. I am very confident when I say that. But it's that listens to the, it's not easy, unknown, right? What the hell's gonna happen when like, I don't know. Am I gonna make money? Am I gonna be able to feed my family? Even you said in terms of like art and creativity, right? Like most people would be like, oh, you're gonna be a starving artist. And it's like, I refuse. Right. But it's like those things stick in your head. So it's, being confident and knowing that you are going to be taken care of, like you are. And I have so many stories that I have been in the end. And I was like, man, I worried for nothing. I was so stressed for nothing.
Yeah, you said a few great things there. First of all, I would love to lean into what you just said, because for some people it is hard and they're just not sure, like if they can let go, like we have our hands and they're like, if I let go of this, everything might crumble, like everything that I've built up until this point might just be taken away. Like, what's the point of me letting go when I've put so much strain on my body, so much, forcefulness on my body for what? What would you say to somebody who is in that experience, knowing that there's a deeper purpose to their life?
I mean, I think when we're trying to hold on so tightly with control, things still can go bad. I feel like there's something about human nature and wanting to control. It's like, when we're trying to plan out our life, we do the vision boarding, right? And we're trying to like plan like Monday to Sunday, this is what it's going to look like. For the next 2 years, this is what it has to look like. But we are so focused on all those pieces and not enjoying the learning within each step. And I think there has to be ways for us to let go of control. And that's hard. It is very hard. I think art has honestly helped me, like the free flow abstractness has helped me release. I actually had a conversation with a couple people that was saying to create a workshop that was just around abstract, like splatters of paint and like, how do you do that? And I was like, well, what do you mean? That's easy peasy, right? Is what I'm thinking in my head. And they're like, no, it's hard because it has to be perfect. The lines have to be perfect. And I want to control where the colors are going. And I was like, yeah. Now that I think about it, there was a point in my life, and that was before I started like really going deep into my business, painted like crazy for 6 months, like just random colors and splatters because I was going through so much. And I think that also helped me release the control. Sounds kind of like, maybe corny or something, but it is true. Like there is such therapy in just being able to splatter something on a piece, say you don't like it, and start over again. It's the same thing with life, right? Like we hold so like controlling onto this path, and we're hoping it's going to go the right way, and then it doesn't, and we think that it's done, and it's like, no, that means we can start all over again. It's okay, right? There's different tools, but I definitely would say just really leading into like whatever that looks like. For me, it's art. Art has always been good on releasing control. Yeah.
You said you can't control control. This is what you said?
Did I always say that? No.
Oh, okay. So I feel like that's what you said, but you can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm totally open for it, because I heard somebody say you can't control or something along the lines of that. Do you remember that?
No.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like you were straight channeling in that moment, but like yeah, because you were like, because I was like, wait a minute, you're right. You can't control, because we try like these eight type personalities, like, okay, and then we have to make sure the controller of the controller is like doing what it needs to do. But it's like, that is way too much. It's like, it becomes so off center. It doesn't allow any room for flow. Doesn't allow any room for our femininity. It doesn't allow any room for spirit to come in. It doesn't allow room, any space. There's no space, because the full void is filled. So I really appreciate you saying that and sharing that story. I think people really needed to hear that, because it's one thing to know, like, yes, I do have the confidence, but it's like, okay, what did it take to build that up, and how did we like move through that experience? So I really appreciate you sharing and going into that.
Can I add 2 like little pieces to that has helped me?
Yeah, please.
Like just generally, like even because I was a manager as well for like 4 years of a store, and that too made me nervous, because now you're leading, right? You're supposed to lead your team and all that stuff. One, get really comfortable with making fun of yourself and being silly. Like,
Mm. Oh, yes.
yeah, like I laugh at myself now so much. It's like sometimes I'm like, why did I say that? And it's just like I laugh about it and I learn about it and then I move forward, right? So it's like if we were to like let go of like, oh, things again have to be perfect. I have it to look this way. Take it in, laugh about it, and we move forward. It's okay. Like there's authenticity around that. And the other piece, like just reiterating too, is like finding those moments. Again, like art was that for me, but something, it could be dance, it could be singing karaoke if you don't even know how to sing or hold a note, like something that's just going to allow you to remove the control. Like things don't have to be perfect, right? They don't have to be, or whatever perfection is supposed to be on this world, right?
Yeah.
Just have fun doing that thing that you love.
Yeah. First one is when you were saying like releasing the control, I thought about what dance is to me for that. Because I can dance in a sense of like certain movements and rhythm, not like a true choreographed dancer, but I have a sense of rhythm. And then what I've been doing recently in my rising routine, I usually do yoga asana, but I switch it up. And then my flow, my asana was going so rigid because I was doing just straight up Surya Namaskars and they're all 90 degrees angles. And I was like, my body is asking me to free up myself a little bit more. So I've been just jumping up and down, like fist pumping in the air, just like kicking my legs. And that's actually one of the reasons why I loved kickboxing, because it allowed me to move my body in ways that I never you would never do that in your everyday life. You're not like just kicking, above your head. Just you're not doing that. So it was like allowing my body to just do certain things. So now like these past, like I would say a week, I've just been moving my spine and just being silly, and it's just been so relieving to the body. My inner child is really happy because then she has to like do all these other things, be the head of the household, kind of like moving around, organizing things, like doing a lot of things, and then being a boss on like the computer and stuff like that. So it's like a lot of like directing, and then it's like, yeah. So I needed that part where I was like, you just need to free up yourself. So that felt really good to like let control go. And then the movement piece for me was that was it, because I loved moving in circular spiral like energies as well, as opposed to they all work together, but just a little bit more circular energy. Welcome. So I just wanted to add that. So thank you for sharing that and that reminder. Yeah.
Amazing. I agree.
Yeah, that's actually one of the reasons why I love to do my yoga asana. Like when I teach it is very unique and different, but it's because I would always sign up for different workshops and certifications that were around movement. So I would do like people who just like would teach you like things in the just different, really different primal things, all the way from like angular things, and then fuse this different move style that's so unique that people are like, I've never done this style before. I'm like, I know, I just made it up. But
Yes.
because it's a mixture of every experience that I've been through in regards to teaching, but it's also what Spirit told me I needed to teach, because that's what needed to happen, because all other ones existed. So I was like, okay,
I gotta attend one of these.
Yeah. I would love to. I'd love to. I can't wait. You had mentioned about your past as a child and it not being like maybe the best or something you've learned from. And I feel like those moments, it really like shaped you to be what you are now, because it's helped you to see light as it is. So can you speak on that? Or if you are open to speaking on that, like what was it like growing up when you were younger?
And this is actually something I'm going to start sharing more as well. I feel like those who obviously know me from my childhood, they know, right? It's anybody that I'm meeting now in the last 6 years. And the story isn't anything like new. I feel like many people, especially immigrant families, experience, right? So like I was born here. My family is from El Salvador, right? So as a young child, we all lived in one house. There was like cousins, aunties, my grandma, my mom, like all of us, my sisters, right? which as the youngest, it was actually a lot of fun. Like there was a lot of love there because I was the youngest. I felt well taken care of from everybody, right?
Yes.
We also didn't have a lot of money. So we actually lived in a neighborhood that was not the greatest. It was like lots of drugs, there was rape, gun violence, like gang violence, like stuff like that. And then just like the family dynamics, I guess just generally you have so many different age groups within one house, just a lot of like arguing. But as a kid, nothing happened physically to me. I just didn't know what to do with all the energy. And so I was very angry. Like I was very happy and angry. Like it was a weird balance that I had to like my preteens and then even my teens, you know, and that's also in a weird way, like there's very little that gets me scared, like in terms of like the physical world, right? Like, and it's because I seen so many things that were not good. So I'm like, well, what else, right?
Yeah.
But there was always something within me that said, there has to be light, you know, like obviously my mom's very loving, so I would see love. So I'm like, there has to be light, regardless of this weird stuff that I keep seeing outside my house. Honestly, like that, I think it was my early 20s, or like, no, even right before I hit 20, where I was like, I don't want to feel this way anymore. Where I didn't know where to put the anger. No, even in relationships, like romantic relationships, I'm like, why do I get so angry about these things? You know, like I like, this is not what I want to be, right? And so again, leaning on the art is what really helped, but also like being authentic to myself and trying to figure out what is the actual issue here, because there has to be love.
I love that. What is the actual issue here? That's a great question, because when we ask that, we're expanding our consciousness to go into our subconscious realm, because 95% of our experience in life is subconscious. Questions like that, we step into the subconscious realm and we start swimming in that and exploring in that, and then that's how our awareness in the subconscious gets even bigger. And I feel like our capacity to maneuver different parts of our brain also expand. So that's a really great question that you were asking yourself. And so when did you feel like you had more, or do you actually, let's start with that. Do you feel like you have a healthy connection with your anger right now?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm nowhere near what I was.
Okay, yes. Okay.
And it sounds like, so like I had anger issues or something, but it was just like things would frustrate me really fast, right? Or I was like the fire side of me, because I do have Aries and Leo. So it was like that fire side of me would come out really quickly. But I'm a Libra, so it's balancing those worlds, right? And honestly, yeah, I definitely have learned how to balance them. And that's even through leadership, and even like when I'm, you know, hosting workshops, like how do you show up very calm? That's the one thing a lot of people always say, they feel calm around me, right? But I can still be very like assertive if I need to be, right? And respectful. It's taken time, but again, the art, writing, you know, having conversations, right? Like, and not steering away from the conversations. Cause I used to get very defensive too. If someone I love would say to me, like, why are you angry? A lot of inner work, right?
In those moments when the defensiveness was coming up, how did you take the time to say, okay, wait, I'm actually going to listen to the version of you who are like, nah, they're just talking. I don't really want to listen to what they have to say.
So like years ago, like many years ago, I would, like, if I was getting really defensive, I would get to the point where I would just be like, I don't want to talk anymore. Like, I don't want to talk anymore. And I would just almost run from the conversation, because I would just be like, I don't want to hear it. Now I'm at a place where like, I actually, because I've been doing a lot of breath work and stuff, I actually take that in. So like, you know, I'm like, I could feel myself getting defensive, or not as much, but like, or I can feel frustration, let's say, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of the breath work and also transparent conversation, like this is really frustrating me right now. And I don't know what to say, right? Like going to that avenue of like transparency in the moment, so that the other person can see too, like, oh, okay, we're going up there. Let's kind of bring it back. Yeah, it's tough though too, right? Like, I mean, in every conversation could be different. Some people really trigger different parts of me, right? From like years ago.
Absolutely.
So it's, again, like, I think the one thing though I will say is I do reflect a lot, and I've been that way since forever. Whether the moment kind of simmers down right in the moment, or maybe it doesn't, I will always reflect and come back, and I know like, okay, this is where I could have done a little bit better with my words. Self-reflection is huge.
Yeah, it is huge for sure. And that was actually going to be a part of the question I was going to ask. Like, how did you build up yourself to able to have that dialogue? Like, oh, I'm frustrated, or I feeling a little bit defensive, or I want to like take a step back or something. And you answered it. It was like self-reflection. It really does take space. And I think you also said breath work, which also holds space for different emotions for us to not just hold on to. It allows us to really work through energy that is just moving through their experience, right? Energy and motion. I really appreciate you sharing that. So next is I want to talk a little bit about your hometown. Well, El Salvador. So have you ever been there before?
I haven't.
Okay.
Yeah, next year for sure I get to go. Obviously, it's a lot safer now than it was, so that's why I had never gone back. And on top of that, I don't have any family there anymore. They're either here or Belize and Guatemala. So I have gone to both Belize and Guatemala, but I'd love to go back to at least see where my mom was born, and it'd be really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And were you born in Canada?
Yes, yeah, I was born here.
Okay, so how did it feel like connecting to El Salvador and hadn't actually been back, but still, rooted in the culture every single day because you were around your whole family's El Salvadorian?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. And how did that feel, like not physically being there, but like every day interacting with the culture?
Like, I feel very attached to my culture, like my Latin heritage, because I've learned even through some DNA studies that I have like other parts of Latin America in me that I didn't know. But honestly, for the longest time, I think even up until like I hit 30, I felt disconnected in the sense of like, so I live in Scarborough, right? And shout out Scarborough. But like all my life, oh my gosh, like almost every other day, where are you from? Where are you from? What's your nationality? You look this, you look that. And I did not like that. I did not like being asked that. And I'll tell you, it's not because I don't love my Latin roots. It's because I actually don't know my biological dad's full DNA. Again, that kind of goes back to the self-reflection where I'm like, why does it irritate me so much when people ask me this question? But it was because part of me felt like, one, something's missing. And two, I felt like I was lying when I would say I'm El Salvadorian, which is true, but I don't know the other side, right?
Yeah.
So there's this weird disconnection to who I am, but like still so connected with my family. Like, love my roots. I love my music. I love my food. I love like everything, and not here.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. I can also relate in regards to like not knowing and then feeling like kind of like imposter syndrome. Like, wait, am I that? Like, I've been grown up in it and taught about it, but am I really that? And then like, so I've had my own experience with that for sure. I totally understand. And then coming to terms with that, right? And like with the self-reflection process is part of it for sure. It's part of it for sure. So I love that you said that regardless, you still feel connected because you felt like you were born there. Because that's why I asked that question, because I wasn't sure if you did or not. But because the culture lives through the souls, that's there, then it can activate that, anywhere and everywhere. And then the lands amplify that. So thank you for sharing that. Okay, so I'd love to sing all of that, this beautiful magic that you've built, you've created, your past, being your creative visionary self and your synergistic curator self. There's something amazing that you have coming up. And I'd love for people to hear how you're sharing this with the world. So if you'd like to give us some information, I'd love to know.
I think I briefly highlighted every month I curate these creative wellness workshops. They're typically like 3 to 4 hours, right?
Okay.
Monthly. There's different themes. Everything is very intentional. But as of recently, and this will be the third one, I started creating more of like a mini retreat because it's like a 7-hour day, but it amalgamates education, vendors, got music. There might be like somatic movement. There's always a sound bath with meditation. We've got food. Like, everything's intentional from beginning to end, right? This one that I have coming up, it's on June 21st. It is called Phoenix Rising, and it's gonna really pay homage to the artists in me and to bring awareness to the multifaceted artists in Toronto. So my hope is to bring as many artists as possible into this space and learn from each other. There will be Q&A panel discussion that I'll be hosting with a few of the vendors, right? And the main themes are entrepreneurship, wellness, and spirituality. We'll have 15 handpicked vendors, as well as we're going to do a 1 hour. This one's going to be so beautiful. A 1 hour sound frequency, but it's going to be 3 of us. So sound frequency, along with breath work, and then visual meditation, all almost like a curated story. It's gonna be very beautiful. And then the ending, we're gonna have 3 sections to create. So you'll be able to create your own poem, a love poem to yourself. You'll also be able to create your own essential oil roller. Yeah, a little bit of art therapy as well, like color therapy. And we're gonna end off the night with dancing, vibe, shopping, music, instrumentals, like all of that. This is what I've been creating, and my goal is to have 1 per quarter every year. So this is the 7th for this year. Yeah.
Okay. And usually people who organize events, you have to have a good sense of organization to make sure certain things are in place. Yeah. So I want to just lean into that in regards to the logistics and the business side of this beautiful event. Like, what do you feel like you're learning about yourself in being better in business?
One that I've learned, especially the last year and a half, is leaning on support. You don't have to do everything alone. Like, you really don't. But also being discerning on who you are asking for support. Like, they have to be aligned with your business, right? Like, there's so many people with many different gifts and talents, but you can't say yes to everybody. It has to be someone that aligns with your business. That's key.
Yeah.
So those are my 2 big, I guess, learns, or I don't have to do this alone. So even this one, I actually have a business partner this time who's just helped the back end stuff. Everything takes long, right? You're creating all the stuff and you're trying to get out there and socialize. No, it's a lot. So, that's my big learn for sure.
I love that. That's powerful. And I'm so glad that you have somebody on the back end to support you with that. Because you said it was a business partner, you're dealing with other things on the back end, which is such a big part. That back end piece is so integral, and also feeling the normalcy of having support.
Yeah.
That is a big thing. And how did you start normalizing it? I have 2 questions on that. How did you start normalizing it? But when did you realize, okay, I need to welcome?
When did I realize welcoming more support? I think that was even before I started my workshops. I think somewhere when I became a manager at my old job, that actually helped me with that, because as a manager, you have your assistant manager, and then you also have other managers that can support you. So we constantly talked about that, leaning on your people, right? And I think that was the era that helped me. So when I started to create my workshops, I already kind of had that ingrained. And honestly, it brings me joy to bring other people on to use their skills. So why not? I don't have to do it all.
Yes, absolutely. That's something that I'm learning as well. Like, bring people on and letting them, excel in their greatness. I'm like, yeah, you go ahead.
Yeah. And it doesn't take away from us. It doesn't take away from you. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's the piece where a lot of times there's 2 things. We might struggle with asking for support because it's seen as weak, or you can't do it by yourself, but it's not. That's not the case. And the other piece is some people don't want to lean on support because they want to seem like they can do it all, and they don't. But it's no, it's not taking away from your gifts or your ideas at all, right? And I think that's the piece of making sure you're aligned with the person you're bringing on. They're aligned with you and your business. They have the same vision, right?
Yeah, I love that. So we'll skip that question. The next one I have is, though, what do you foresee? I know you said you wanted to have these longer retreats every quarter. What's something that you also wanted to bring to fruition this year, or for yourself, and and then we could do the business part?
So this year?
Yeah.
So for myself, that list is so long.
Yeah.
Okay, top of mind. Let's see. For myself, not related to business. You know what? Right now, this very moment in time, what's coming up is just balance. I think when we jumped on, I was saying 2 hours before was almost feeling frazzled, but in a good way. but I don't want to be frazzled. I want more balance. I got all of these beautiful projects happening, but just finding a way again to fill my cup, remembering to fill my cup as I'm giving. So that's what's going to help me with the balance. Yeah. Yeah. I can already see it going into the rest of the year that I might trip over myself if I don't do that. So yeah.
I love that you said the next part of what does that look like? 'Cause that was going to be my question, because it's important that we know the action that we can take. So then our subconscious allowing space for that to identify what it actually looks like. So it's like, oh yes, like where can I fill my cup on a weekly basis? Like what does that look, or where can I fill my cup on a daily basis? What does that look like ideally? And so I love that. I love that you're asking that steps of question. So moving on to the business part, what would that look like for you?
Yeah, there's two pieces to that actually. One of them, so like these events, these retreats, I curate them off of like what my spirit is telling me I'm supposed to do, right? Theme and all of that, and who's coming into it. But I actually want to get to a place where companies are hiring me to do it for them. Same idea though, like still very mindful and artistic, wellness based, but creating it for them. So I would really, and I will say there, I have actually already got hired for one, but I want to continue to do that. And then the other piece, which is like so near and dear, is creating these retreats for my Latin roots. So there is going to be one in September, but I want to continue to do that, like creating that space where I can be amongst my people, but also showcasing that to Toronto as well, like from like artists to music to food to vendors, like all Latin based, right? So, and wellness, bringing wellness to my community, honestly. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Welcoming all these pieces that do exist, but also adding the wellness aspect into that. And then allowing it to thrive as this beautiful interactive experience. I love that. Thank you for sharing all three parts of that. That was awesome. Yeah, I'd love to share a little bit more on what that would look like if someone wanted to grab tickets, and how then they would be able to find you as well. Where can they find you on the metaverse vibes?
Metaverse, yeah. I mean, Instagram's usually pretty easy. I have my link tree on there under Anna Azucena, so very easy. All the links are on there. I'm looking for vendors. Our promo code, please remind me, CXPX.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah, and I'll create that. So very easy. Like you just get the ticket, put in the promo code on Eventbrite, and then it will give you the discount.
Amazing. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for that special gift. And thank you for really taking this time to dive in with me what your past looked like, what your story is, and how you've also come to fruition. I know there were so many different pieces and parts, so I really appreciate you going into one space and really opening it up for me, and opening up to the viewers to really take a little deep diver into who you are as a creative as well. So thank you. Is there any last words that you would like to share with somebody tuned in right now?
I've been saying this often, but I'll just say it again. It's like whatever it is that you feel called to do, just start. And the small steps are steps. So just do it, just start and keep going. Because when you look back, you're going to realize where you moved to, right? So yeah.
I love those little small steps. You turn back and you're like, whoa, I just took 10 steps.
Yeah, it might not feel like it, but when you look back in even 6 months, you're going to be surprised. Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. I have one last question, Ashley, that came up, and I would love to hear your take on it. So a lot of creatives, sometimes they feel like they struggle with this financial component, and we kind of talked about it, like this concept of the starving artist and how you don't associate with it. And I love that because it takes a lot of I feel like it takes a lot of awareness, decolonization, and reflection. Could you share your take on that for the people tuning in?
Yeah, I'm still learning. Let's start there. And I'll say, so I actually work for myself. So I actually don't have another job currently, like everything in the sense of like my workshops, anything to do with my artistry. If someone has hired me on as a contract base, That's what it is. I'm not working for another company 9 to 5. I was. And it took a lot of push to get me out because of the stability, obviously, right? Daughter, and I have a family, my parents, like, you know, it's like the stability piece. One, I would say there's a couple of things in here. Starving artist, you say it and you say it and you say it, and then that's going to come true, right? I'm a big believer in what you think, you see, and then what you say will come true. So what are you saying? And what do you believe about yourself? And that's why I refuse. I'm not saying that. I used to, and I was starving. So I'm not going to do that anymore, right? Yep. And so that's one piece. The other piece, again, like in my prayer, was wherever you want me to go, God, take me. And when I tell you the doors open, that's when, you know, I had a beautiful lady tell me, hey, I would love to hire you to create these events, and I'm going to pay you. And I'm, oh my gosh, it's going to be so good for the next 4 months. But you know what I mean? And then also seeing that might be 4 months, it's a contract, but seeing the vision for the future, that's now going to propel me for the next and the next, right? I think we do get scared, and that's society telling us you can't, right? Especially as artists, whatever form of art you can, and you won't, and you never will. So it should just be your hobby. It's like, no, but you can. But we have to be planful a bit, right? And when those doors open, like just go through them, learn, and then keep going. And patience is a huge one. I learned a lot. I'm still learning patience, especially when it comes to finances, because we want and need, I should say, to ensure that we can eat, right? But just the patience knowing, okay, this project is about to start. I'm going to get this project. It's coming. Ask for the help if you need to, you know, because people will come and help you. They will. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you so much. That was important. I feel like that was like Spirit was like last question. You need to ask that because I got that question a lot as well. So it's important, I think, for the viewers to really tune in to be like, okay, what does that look like for me on my perspective from another person who's in the industry doing your thing. So thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Awesome. That's all I have to share. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. It's an honor, such a pleasure to have you here. I'm so excited for the beings who are tuned in and tapped into the Energy Podcast starring Anna. How do you say your last name? don't want to butcher it.
Azucena.
Azucena.
Yeah.
They say Azucena. Yeah. Okay. So thank you so much, Anna Azucena, for being our second guest on the Energy Podcast. I am really excited for the people tuning in. Get your tickets. They are only limited ones for this particular promo. So your promo code is CXPX, and that you'll get, I believe, for 110, right?
Yeah, 110.
Okay, perfect. So y'all definitely want to head there. This is beautiful, curated, 7-hour long retreat. I think it's such a nice getaway. If you feel like you want to have that consistent self-care filling your cup, this would be an amazing space to really feel rejuvenated before you need to go out there and, you know, give and do the things that you need to do. That's what I used to do before I traveled. I would do these long day rejuvenated days with spaces like this and really just tap into self and feel that I am supported. So I really appreciate that you're doing this for people.